Good afternoon and welcome to Destination Wellbeing. My guest this afternoon is Bernie Doyle, and Bernie and I are going to be chatting this afternoon amongst maybe some other things, but the main part of our conversation today will be bioenergy therapy and the journey that Bernie's had with bioenergy therapy and over the last few years. And just to remind our viewers this afternoon, Bernie, that it's important for them to take, I suppose, responsibility for their own health, their own well-being. If they've any concerns about health or well-being, that they first of all pay a visit to their GP and just make sure that they get whatever it is, any concerns or worries they have checked out. And really just Bernie and I will be chatting today about our own experience of holistic therapies and how they've helped us in a wide range of stuff. So you're very welcome to Destination Wellbeing, Bernie.
Thank you very much, Joanne.
And I know you've been an avid watcher of some of our previous episodes and shows.
Absolutely.
So, and for those who maybe this might be their first show, Destination Wellbeing goes out every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon on vadio.ie/Destination Wellbeing. So, and we have a wide range of topics on there and some back catalogue of shows as well. So it's fast becoming really a place of information for people. So thank you for adding your knowledge on
very
the
welcome.
show today. So tell us a little bit. I know some about bioenergy, have experienced a few treatments with Bernie myself. So I can input a little bit, but you're the expert. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you came across bioenergy and what it is that it does.
Okay, so Joanna, as you know, I've been interested in alternative and complementary for a number of years now. 30 years, in fact, when we were doing yoga, you know, and I was told during one of the sessions that it healing hands. So I began to search for something to do you know what I mean, with these hands, so to speak.
Yes.
Nothing really resonated with me, nothing at all, and I kept my search going. I was buying books, you know, I was doing everything to find, you know, what it was. If it could be a song, it was, I still haven't found what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it was that search. Yeah,
you
as
know, I
often
was
happens.
searching the whole time, do you know what I mean, and nothing was coming up.
Yeah.
And then one day I was watching a TV programme, and Michael Flatley happened to be on as a guest, and he was explaining bioenergy therapy, and that was it. I just knew.
That was
it.
Yeah.
This was it.
Often we find, whether it's trying to find a therapy that will work for us, or a career, or a partner, or whatever it is in life that we're looking for, sometimes it just triggers. It just takes that one connection really that makes it all piece come together, and as you say in the song, you find what you've been looking for.
Absolutely.
Because often, and I know right back to the first guest that we had on, we had Kit Fay on at the very beginning in Destination Wellbeing, and Kit was is a journey practitioner, and Kit was mentioning that she'd done this and she'd done that and she tried this and tried that, and then she found the one that just resonated with who she was as a person. So
that's exactly the same thing that happened to me.
Yeah,
so it is. So then I Googled the therapy and found that there was a fellow down in County Clare who had treated Michael Flatley.
Yeah, and I'd say many of our viewers may not be familiar with the actual term bioenergy therapy, but Michael's story got quite a lot of coverage because he was...
It got huge press coverage.
Yeah.
So it was because...
Obviously because he was who he was. And I think, was that round about the time where he had his legs insured for so many crazy millions or whatever there were.
Absolutely.
So, but he was still struck down and unwell.
Well, the story goes that Michael was flying people in from all over the world to get to the bottom of what was wrong with him. And the tests were coming up nothing. They were all inconclusive. Nobody could pinpoint what was wrong with him. He was bedridden, I think, for a year and a half. You know, he dropped out of the public life altogether. And then someone told him about Michael O'Doherty in Clare. Now, he was living in Cork at the time, so it's not too far away.
Yeah.
So he got Michael up to treat him with this weird, you know, bioenergy. And he said after one session, he walked a mile. And he said he knows he walked a mile because that's the length of his driveway. Okay. As you do.
Yeah, as you have a mile long driveway. Yeah, we all have one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, there he was, bedridden with an unexplained illness, which, am I right in saying now, is thought to have possibly been ME or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And the frustration that must come with that, and I'm sure some of our viewers watching in this afternoon have that same frustration with not really knowing exactly what's wrong, but knowing that something's not right.
Yeah.
And the body will always tell us when it's not functioning properly, but it's getting to the bottom of it. And whenever I suppose that's the holistic model really, isn't it? And the alternative is that there is always a root cause. of whatever the imbalance is within the body.
Well, Michael O'Doherty would say that he knew immediately that the problem belonged in the energetic field, which is the energy field which surrounds the body, which is scientifically proven now that everybody has one. Some people call it the aura, some people call it the matrix. You know, different people have different names, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's the energy field which surrounds the body. So when Michael went in to treat the energy field, Michael Flatley was then up and running.
Up and running, because it was operating on a different level, and I would often describe that energy field to people, because sometimes I find whenever therapists are talking about an energy field, it's okay if we accept this idea of an energy field, but for those of us who are maybe quite new to it, that it's almost like, or for me, my definition is that it's like where you have a lump in your throat or a lump in your stomach. It feels physical, it can feel really, really physical, but it's just energy. It's a block of energy or emotion or something that's causing a physical feeling. And Michael Flatley's was an exasperation of that, in that it was affecting his whole body continuously, rather than just where we get an energetic lump in our throat for a few minutes and we either cry or swallow it down and it passes. So, or the feeling that you get when you walk, you know that somebody's looking at you, even though you can't see that they're looking at you, or you're not physically aware that they're looking at you, but you can pick that up in your energy field or your aura that's around your body. And that's, I suppose, how most of us experience our energy field on a day-to-day basis, really, isn't it?
Well, to cut a long story short, I signed up for a 9-month training program, and my family were absolutely bewildered as I was going to Clare. And I have no sense of direction. And my husband politely told me that I couldn't find my way to Dundalk from Newry. How am I going to, do this journey the whole way to Clare?
Well, I am familiar with you not being able to find a way from Bessbrook to Camla, which is, pretty straightforward. So, given that, you live in Camla. So, so I can imagine Clare was a bit of a challenge.
Anyway, the universe conspired with me, and I got a little phone call to say there was a girl living in Drogheda, and could I give her a lift? So immediately I felt, oh, this is great. This is, this is going to help us.
Yeah, we're going together.
We're going together, and she can be my navigator. Yeah. I didn't realise at the time that Jackie was even worse than I was.
Worse. Yeah. But you got there. You got there.
Anyway. We missed the turn every month for Limerick. Every month, without fail. Too much chat. Yeah.
Well,
in the car,
this is always good.
But the laughs we had were just incredible.
And I think that's often,
wouldn't have wasted a minute of it.
Sometimes you see when a therapist goes on that journey to whatever therapy they're working on or whatever, the people that they meet along the way, it's a bit of a physician heal themselves, because you said that weekend once a month, whereby you were communicating and you were chatting and talking and letting the worries of the world out in that space and connecting together and as you say, laughing and enjoying the journey and the company. So
absolutely. So then we both trained, and after 9 months we obtained our European diploma, which allowed us to practice bioenergy on other people. Excuse me. And then I became interested in the creator, who came up with this concept, that this works, So I Googled, as you do, Zdenko Domancic, and discovered that he was also training in Slovenia. Now, he created this 35 to 40 years ago now. It says 35 on the website, but that was 4 years ago, so we're close enough to 40. And it actually showed a study where, under the Slovenian government, by officials, he treated actually 200 people with advanced gangrene. Now, all these people were, just about to lose toes, whatever, do you know what I mean? It was so bad. And after he had treated them, nothing. They were all
the body
cured.
Was in the process of healing itself.
It was. They all healed themselves through the bioenergy form. So I thought, this is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. So I wanted to go to the source. Sorry.
You're okay.
I wanted to go to the source. So I took myself to Slovenia, and I did level 1, and I was so glad that I'd already trained in Ireland, because I found the pace really, really fast.
Yeah, we
worked like, we done 154 diseases over the course of 4 days, and each disease is specific.
Okay, so you had the grind and...
I had the grind, yeah. So then I wasn't happy with that. I took myself back again 3 months later, and I was taught then how to do distance healing and how to work in groups.
Okay.
Which really blew my mind. Do you know what I mean? I just loved it. Just loved the whole concept. And Bled, as I call it, is probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. So, you know, I look forward to going back all the time.
Yeah, and I suppose with so much healing work going on, the energy and everything then...
Oh, there's so much healing in the room. It's incredible. Because you get to go into the clinic and you get to see the Zdenko himself working with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're learning from the master.
You really are literally learning from the master, which is incredible.
Yeah,
it's a privilege.
Opportunity.
It's a privilege.
Yeah,
so
certainly.
You know.
So a treatment, if someone was to have a treatment and say I've experienced it myself, but what exactly does it involve from both from the practitioner's perspective, I suppose, and also from the receiver's perspective?
Okay. First of all, the treatment is 4 consecutive days. That is the most important thing. Second of all, you come with a diagnosis. That is the de Monchich method of bioenergy healing. You go to your physician, you get a diagnosis.
Okay, so you first of all visit your doctor.
Yes, absolutely.
That is,
you know, paramount.
Yeah.
And that the doctor has told you, you know, that you have, you know, a problem with your back, or you have whatever it is, you have tendinitis, you have whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you come to me, you explain to me that this is your problem, and then I will then know the treatment.
Okay.
So you will come then, say you come on the Monday, you'll be coming on the Monday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday and Thursday. I know it seems an awful lot for people to do, but I always say to people on the second day, we're halfway there, and they go, what?
Yeah.
You know?
It's the... I suppose that's quite unique in that format, in that it has a set...
It's because the energy is building and building over the 4-day period. And also for the next 10 days, even though I'm not there, the energy continues to build. Yeah. Okay. And the body heals itself. I don't heal anybody.
No, it activates the body's own healing ability, really.
You see, the energy field, if I was to burn myself, the energy field would know that information before my brain has had time to tell me, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, that's
you know. And I always think that now if I do burn myself, it has it.
Yeah.
So if you think about life and all the strains and the stresses, do you know what I mean, that we go through on a daily basis, including just nicking your finger, or maybe you've got, you know, health worries, maybe you've got financial worries, you know what I mean, you've got anxiety, you're unable to sleep at night.
Yeah, and often I would think that about, you know, you're talking about like financial worries maybe can't be diagnosed by the doctor, but they're still causing you stress.
Absolutely,
and they're still causing anxiety. Taking them, helping the body to cope with those stresses better doesn't necessarily change the problem, but it can help you to feel better, which is, again, it's a vicious circle, because financial worry leads to stress. Stress leads to more stress, which can lead to more financial worry, because maybe you're not able to work, or you're not able to see the wood for the trees, or you're not able to even open up to opportunities and solutions, because we're caught on this spiral.
Yeah, if you're unable to sleep at night because you're up all night and you're worrying, how am I going to put food on the table tomorrow? How am I going to, you know, feed my children, clothe my children, there's a communion coming up, there's confirmation, whatever it is, do you know what I mean? And you're lying there awake, how are you supposed to be productive the next day? Yeah,
so it's tackling it in from all angles. It's not going to cure the financial worries, but it'll cure the physical effects of those financial worries, hopefully, or help the body to deal with the physical effects.
It will relax you down to a level where you can actually think straight. Instead of one problem just sitting on top of the next problem over and over again. And there's so much of it out there, Joanna, as you know yourself. Yeah,
till we get to where the straw breaks the camel's back type thing, and then the whole lot comes tumbling down around us. So the 4-day treatment, so on the first session, or the first coming in, and what is the experience? Is it...
Well, basically, Joanne, you would come into my therapy room, and what you would do, I would ask you to stand for just a moment, and I will be entering your energy field, your biofield, whatever, you know, I will be entering that. So my energy field is then attached to yours.
So
Okay.
we've got a connection.
Yeah,
going
we've got a
on.
connection. We're immediately connected. And then basically I would do the basic principles and then say, Joanne, you know, what is your problem? Like say you've got an awful, you know, you've got tendinitis in your shoulder or you've tinnitus in your ear, whatever it is, do you know what I mean? I would go straight to that problem. If you're in pain, I'll use a technique and it's called takeout. If you're not in pain but you're still suffering, do you know what I mean? If there's a lingering little thing just niggling at you, then I'll balance. Now the energy is informed, it knows exactly what it needs to do, and it will go to the problem. And basically it's about 30 minutes long, 30 to 45 minutes long.
It's fully clothed treatment as well,
fully
so
clothed
anybody
treatment.
that's conscious of touch or anything like that are okay. You know,
the only time I ask somebody to remove something would be their shoes.
Yeah.
Because you work on the feet, but you don't even touch the feet. And if a person is unhappy with that, there is no problem.
Yeah,
they can keep their shoes on. You know, there's no problem.
Because I think sometimes when people aren't sure about a therapy, it can, the idea to go in, what happens, where to go, it sets a whole other stress field off, and that can...
Well, it can do, yeah.
So the idea is putting the person at ease, and I'd imagine then over the 4 days that sense of trust builds as well, which allows the treatment to, because you know what's coming next, and you become familiar.
By day 2, you know, I notice a lot of people just saying, you know, I go, are you okay today? Oh, yeah.
Work with.
It's all. Do what you have to do. You know, wave your arms, whatever it is that you're doing. So, and then you sit down, and a lot of people report, you know, feeling very, very relaxed after the treatment, and that's the one good thing for, you know, anxiety, depression. But depression has its own set off system. Do you know what I mean? Which I put into place, but they do feel relaxed, and I enjoy it so much. I love that somebody is looking completely different after 4 days.
And I think relaxation is the key for everything, because it allows, it's the relaxation that allows the body to heal really,
exactly.
isn't it? So we can get into that relaxed state within the body, rather than our cells all being clamped up and tight and not able to do anything. If we can let the energy flow through them and let them open up and relax, then you've got that benefit.
I will ask questions during the therapy. I will say to people, can you feel anything? I won't say what people have said, because that's suggestive.
Yeah, and everybody has...
And everybody's different.
Different feelings, different
and some people say no, and it's fine. Everything, it doesn't mean that it's not working. It just means that they just don't feel it at that particular time. You know, on day 3, they could feel something completely different. Do you know what I mean? So every individual is unique.
Yeah, it's all very relative. And I know you work not just with people and humans, but you're also doing some work with animals as well, which
I am, and I'm loving it. I'm treating a little racehorse at the moment, so I am, and absolutely loving it. And animals, you see, have no preconceived ideas, or children for that matter. So they're very open, and they can feel the energy straight away, absolutely straight away.
Yeah,
you know.
I think even last night there was a documentary on BBC Two on the placebo effect, and they were talking, so I suppose I would look at it, is it the placebo effect, or is it actually just, is it mind, is it the body healing itself with the passage, and that's the idea behind it. But as you say, children and animals are so open to that then sometimes it even throws out the placebo effect thing, because sometimes they don't even know that it should be happening. So it allows, you know, like in my own treatment, whenever I'm working with clients, I've one young girl that I work with who has special needs, so would have no idea of what reflexology can do or can't do, but it works and it helps and it does what she needs it to do.
Exactly.
And bioenergy with animals is that same thing, is that the animal has no idea what's happening or what you're doing or what a bioenergy is, but it knows on a deeper level.
It knows
that it works.
Very down deep that there is something happening. You can watch it, you can watch the reaction, you know.
And it works for them without any idea.
They wouldn't have a clue
what's going on.
But I think they're very smart. They know that you're there to help.
Oh, they're
immediately.
So tuned. Especially, I mean, horses are such a beautiful animal to work with.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
Really, in all formats.
So the horse that I'm dealing with at the moment, I was out at the farm, and now I'm doing it over the distance, and I'm immediately, I'm feeling everything, so I immediately know that the horse has picked me up. Right over. It sounds crazy, but that's the way it is.
And, and if it's working and the horse
is working,
healing,
you know,
that's
so
that's
it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm really hoping now, and the scans will come back. to confirm whether there is an improvement or there isn't an improvement.
Yeah.
They're very, very big on that in Slovenia. You know, if you have any doubts, go and get yourself scanned.
Get the evidence.
Go and get your blood work done. You know, if you're coming in with leukemia, you know, Sedenko claims that the blood changes itself after 2 treatments. After the first 2 days, the blood's already starting to correct itself. So,
but the body is completely amazing. I mean, even the fact that we know when we cut ourselves that it heals and it just happens, and we can accept that because it's a very apparently a very small, you know, to all intents and purposes, a very small thing to happen. But the amount of systems that need to kick in behind that to allow that actual cut to heal, even if it's no matter how small it is, the immune system's kicking in, you know, it's all knitting back together, the cells are growing, they're developing. So it just leaves us to think that the body does totally have that power.
It's a walking miracle, to be honest with you. You
I
know,
also
when you think
want
about it.
Yeah,
you know,
how
it's like bioenergy is, its main function is to boost the immune system.
Yeah.
You know,
and
that is our job, basically. Primarily, that's our job. And then the body gets its immune system back up and running, and it then goes to work on itself.
Because again, that's one of the first things that's hit when we're stressed is our immune system. It becomes weaker, and then we're susceptible to everything and anything that wants to be thrown at us. One of the other things that I wanted to briefly chat to you about today, as well as the bioenergy, and we'll come back to that in a wee second, but was also the journey with eczema or eczema. It gets 2 different names. But you've a lot of personal experience, well, I suppose not so much personal, but personal with your daughter experience.
Absolutely.
Of that. And I know it's something that a lot of our viewers have quite a lot of concerns about, but it was completely diet sorted and controlled really with Shifa, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Shifa was a very, very severe eczema sufferer, as you remember yourself back in the day.
Totally.
I mean, she was only 6 months old when she got her first spot, which just grew and grew until her whole little body was just completely covered. And I remember going up to Daisy Hill, up to see the skin specialist, and I had a back-to-back appointment with a Chinese herbalist in Belfast. And I actually said that to him, and he said, well, if you want to kill her, there's the door. He said, her liver is not big enough, it's not strong enough to take the toxins, you know, that's going to hit her. He said, let me bring her in, let me clean her up. He said, and then we'll talk. So reluctantly I said, okay, I'll do that, but I want a RAS test. And he said, okay, let me bring her in and you'll get your RAS test. And I said, that's fine. A RAS test is the top 10 allergies.
Okay.
Okay, they'll test you for the top 10 and see what you're allergic to. So anyway, we ended up in Craigavon down at the skin clinic, and Shifa got her RAS test done, and she was allergic to everything that they tested her for. Absolutely everything. Now, she was only 1 year old at this stage.
Yeah, so her diet was,
So basically, you know, her milk, she was, you know, drinking milk. She was, you know, I had her in goat's milk because I thought, you know, the goat's milk would help.
Yeah, as opposed
you know,
to,
and they were going like, why are you giving this child goat's milk? And I said, well, because it's better than cow's milk. And they said, it's the same protein that she's allergic to.
Yeah, so it's
so basically we were back to the drawing board. But I have to say that Dr. Edie, who was her skin specialist at the time, was marvellous. And he assigned the dietitian up in Daisy Hill, who was absolutely, totally amazing, I have to say. And she was put on a restricted diet. And we tested her every 2 days on new foods. So she gave me the top 10 foods that people aren't allergic to.
Okay.
So we introduced them. We worked back to front. So the first milk, bang, eczema. She was completely allergic. So the dietitian who was in, she was in for a tough one. This wasn't just going to be a walk in the park for her, you know. But eventually we got her on a diet that was totally dairy-free. It was totally wheat-free. It was, I mean, the child could eat nothing, but, you know, by the sounds of it. But it was that, apple juice, lamb, I remember those, Rice Krispies. There were 3 of the top ones, peaches. She was like peaches, nectarines. So every day, then, we would just give her new food. If she responded, she would just immediately come out with eczema.
So it was an instant reaction.
Instantaneous. It was so quick, you know. Eventually, though, Shifa's body began to get used to the foods that she was actually allergic to.
Yeah.
The one exception is nuts.
Yeah, and that's the one that's but it can, and again that brings us back, and that was where that led into that, is that the body's amazing ability to heal itself when it has the right tools and it has the opportunity and the space and the time, because it took getting rid of all of the problems to allow you to slowly allow her body back into tolerance and acceptance.
Well, not only that, Shifa was wet wrapped every single night, you know, so that was pouring the moisturisers deep, do you know what I mean, into her skin to keep her moisturised at all times.
Yeah, and then
I have to say, Craigavon cleared her up before she got home, and then we continued on the journey. That was hard work.
Yeah.
Every single night, do you know what I mean, with a 1-year-old struggling and not wanting to be wet wrapped. Yeah. But we did it, and we got through it.
Yeah, perseverance, and I think that's often sometimes whenever we're looking at treatments, and certainly chronic illnesses, that it does take perseverance.
Yeah, it does.
As someone said,
and patience.
Patience, total.
Patience is a big one.
And time, because the body will sort itself out with time. But I think a lot of the times the triggers have to be taken out of the picture, and whether that's arthritis or eczema or whatever the condition is, then we need to get rid of the triggers, and if that's stress, we need to get rid of it, and we need to work through it. But I suppose the message really is that with time and with perseverance, there's always an answer, and that people should keep that hope that there will be a solution somewhere.
There's always a solution.
Yeah, somewhere along the line.
That is my firm belief. Now, it probably took us about 6 months before Shifa was getting reintroduced back to, you know, something that she may have been allergic to, say, for instance, eggs.
Yeah,
before, you know. Yeah. And I can actually remember she had to have her MMR done because it was based on eggs. She had to be supervised.
Yes, to have
in the hospital, just in case. Do you know what I mean? There would be an awful reaction. But thank God, she done well. You know, there was no big reaction out of her.
Yeah, and it hasn't really looked back in.
No, she gets the odd outbreak, I have to say, but nothing that can't be. All we have to do is trace back.
Yeah, what was
it's
the
that
trigger?
Good now. Do you know what I mean?
The body,
it's going to be a food that she's eating.
Yeah, somewhere that has just something that's not totally agreeable.
She used to be very partial to the milkshakes out of a certain fast food place.
Yeah,
and immediately.
Straight away. Yeah.
Straight away.
So
you know.
And there's so many things in our diet and things now, like small quantities of stuff that gets hidden in there somewhere that we don't know is totally in there.
But the thing that I would say about that, Joanne, is if you're coming up with a rash after drinking a milkshake, just don't drink the milkshake.
Don't go with the problem.
And it's the same with people with migraines. Do you know what I mean? There's always a trigger. And my husband actually, he has migraines, so he can't eat cheese. He knows it. He loves cheese, but he just can't have it.
And it's
simple as, you know.
There is often that sort of two ways. Is the real attraction to something can be where the problem comes, isn't it?
I actually think he ate too much cheese and became allergic to it.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, where there was the system just had too much of it in it.
Absolutely.
It's funny that you should say that, because one day I was going for an intolerance test, and I had eaten cucumber. I don't know what notion I had taken. It was during the summer and it was really quite warm out. And I had taken this notion, I love cucumber, and I'd taken this notion, and I must have eaten about half a cucumber on my way before I went. And one of the first things that showed up was an intolerance to cucumber.
There you go.
I most likely wasn't intolerant to cucumber, but the quantities that I had eaten on the way down had meant that my body, and it was literally half an hour, I would say if I was tested on an average day with an average normal amount of cucumber, I probably wasn't anywhere close to being intolerant to it, but my body was just getting this surge of stuff in. So like the cheese, over a period of time, too much of a good thing is bad for you. Well, I learned that lesson. Bernie,
I've learned that lesson
many times, with lots of different things.
To say.
But, and as I say, everything in moderation, even moderation. But
absolutely.
But just to finish on the bioenergy, and to come back to that, you mentioned gangrene, and I know you yourself have treated treated some gangrene. But in general, what would be the most common type of conditions that people would treat?
I tend to get clusters of people. I don't know if you've noticed that when you're doing Reiki, but I get clusters of people with the same problem. I'll get a cluster of people coming in with ME.
Yeah, and they all say one attracts like.
It seems to, do you know what I mean? Then you'll get very severe shoulder pain.
Yeah.
Do you know? Okay. And that's just the way it seems to go. Do you know what I mean? It comes in blocks. You know, cancer, tumours, Do you know what I mean? They're quite difficult to treat, but they are treatable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If the body,
is in the right
place.
for that. And
do you know
even,
what I mean?
and I think one of the things with the holistic or complementary alongside whatever might be happening
Yes, exactly,
in terms
yeah.
of cancer treatment or things like that, is that generally it will help you to feel better throughout the treatment, or you can, you're going to feel more relaxed, you might sleep better, you're going through whatever you're going through,
Yeah.
but it can help with some of the other sides of it.
It can, and also you're trying to lift the immune system because, if you're getting chemotherapy, then your immune system's sitting on the floor.
Yeah, it's getting beaten
So,
down. Yeah.
your job is to go in and try and get that immune system up and running again.
So that it's all working together.
And
really.
it works together, and you can receive it, even during your chemo. If you're, you feel you're sitting on the floor, you don't want to feel like this. It's 2 weeks to your next chemo session, and you want a wee bit of energy, and you want a wee bit of, you want to be able to leave your house, you want to be able to go in the garden.
And do bits and pieces and have a relatively
it's
normal
really
life
good
in
for
between
that.
what
it's
else
really
is going
good
on.
for that, for lifting, because your energy does come back.
Yeah, and
you
getting
know.
the boost back.
Yeah, so that's the way it works.
So it's a wide range, really.
It's A to Z.
Yeah,
so
A to
it
Z
is. And
on a whole
on
range
my
of
final
stuff.
test, I have to say, when I was in Clare, it said, one of the questions was, what can it heal? And I wrote everything, do you know what I mean, from A to Z in alphabetical order, and I got it wrong. It heals nothing.
No.
The body heals itself. Yeah. So I'll leave it.
Yeah,
on that note.
On that note, well, that's the key message, really, isn't it?
It is the key message.
Yeah,
You're healing
it's
yourself.
just helping the body, and it's empowering people to heal themselves, really, and to look out there for that healing message. So, Bernie, your website is bioenergy. www. Yes.
Bioenergyhelpinghands.com.
Yes, and so if anybody's wanting to chat a bit more to Bernie, they can get in touch with her through www.bioenergyhelpinghands.com. And thank you to our viewers for watching in this afternoon. And I'll be in with Rowan on Thursday morning, and we'll be chatting a bit more about bioenergy and how it goes with that. But Rowan's morning show goes out on Destination Uri every morning from 7:30 till 10, and lots of mix and all sorts of different things in there. So do please watch in for that as well, and do remember to check back on some of our previous episodes. Thank you very much, Bernie, and thank you for your time this afternoon.
And thank you for having me,
You're
Joanne.
welcome.